the last time I get to sit with y'all for a while. Hey, Marilee. Hey, Gemma. Deborah. Sue. Hey, y'all. I'm just waiting on a few more people to join us, and then I'll get started. Some of y'all are new, and some of y'all have been here before, so thank y'all for joining me. Okay, I usually wait till there's about 15 people in here just so I don't have to repeat the same thing over and over again, and y'all don't have to hear the same thing. So y'all just be patient, and we'll get there soon. We're almost there. Okay, let me start talking. If you haven't seen me before, my name is Erica, and about 10 years ago, I was placed on hospice with a rare incurable terminal illness called Shy-Drager syndrome or multi-system atrophy. And I saw a lot of different doctors, and they all decided that I had about 6 months to a year to live. And so that was my prognosis, 6 months to a year to live. At the end of that 6 months, I had gotten everything lined up, and I was ready. Hey, Suzanne. I was ready to pass away, and I had kind of accepted all that and was ready for it. And then a year came and went, and I thought, wow, this is extraordinary. I'm kind of living on borrowed time, so what do I need to do? And I decided against everyone's advice that I was going to pull myself off of hospice, and I was going to start these experimental treatments. And that made me healthy enough to carry and deliver a child. I was 32 weeks pregnant when I found out I was pregnant with my youngest daughter, and I had just come off hospice, so I had fully prepared for losing my life, and now I'm having to fully prepare for bringing life into the world. And so it was quite a shock, and we had a few weeks to get ready for her. At the time of her birth, and my C-section, I coded on the surgical table. I was quickly resuscitated and moved to a room. And then 2 hours after she was born, I lost all the blood in my body and lost my life for over a minute. And a lot of things happened within that minute. And I made 3 promises when I came back to this earth that I would continue speaking love out into the world, and that I would speak my story and tell the truth of my story fully, and that I wouldn't go into conspiracy theories, no matter how many might be true, and that I would not cause unnecessary fear. So those are the promises that I made, and that's what I've tried to keep those promises. I want to tell y'all something. I kind of did something against my better judgment, but I was told to do this thing. And I want to tell y'all how powerful it is. We've spent a lot of time together, and some of y'all know a little bit more of my story than others, but I'm going to tell you this. There's so much power in observation. There's so much power in intention. Hey, Renee, D, thank y'all for joining me again. So I want to talk a little bit about that today, and I want to tell y'all what I've done, okay? Because I didn't have the best feeling about doing this, but it was something that I knew I needed to do. And last night, I sent an email to Lockheed Martin. And, hey, Miss Joan, the reason that I did this is because I've been telling all of you how powerful your attention and your intention is, and how important revoking consent is. And so I wrote a formal letter to them and sent it through the USPS, but I also sent it via email. And my human brain thought, boy, that's really stupid. And then there was this side of me that understood by observing it and calling it out and telling them I know what was done and I have proof of it. And unless if they want me to reveal that I didn't want to reveal sensitive information. If this was part of some kind of something that I don't understand about, then they need to let me know, because I'm about to tell my full story without any hesitation. I'm going into surgery Wednesday. And my dad said, he told me, Erica, they're going to try to wipe your memory. They're going to try to make you forget everything. And I want you to understand something, that these truths that have been hidden from you and the rest of the world will come out whether I'm here or not. And I want you to hold tight to the fact that observing something and calling it out has extreme power. And let's just go back to the first negative encounter that we ever had. Maybe it was a bully. Maybe it was a friend that kind of like challenged you or was mean to you. And then your parents may have given you the advice, well, call them out on it. Like, stand up to them and say, look, you can't treat me like this. Or why do you think it's okay to do this to me? And then I got this message about feelings and how I haven't really felt anything since I passed away. And what I mean by that is that I feel all of your emotions, and sometimes those are not my own emotions. I want you to understand, sometimes those are not my own emotions. I feel things that y'all are going through, and I'm sensitive to that because this collective and this group, we're all interconnected deeply within this network, and this mycelium network is what I'm going. Mycelium network is what I'm going. It's glitchy. Of course it is. Jesus, how am I going to get this message out? Okay. I need all these energies to help me get this message out. Make this connection strong and help me with this, because y'all are the ones that are wanting me to tell it. So please help me right now. Okay. Thank you. Jesus, of course it wasn't. Is this my protection, or is this protection from the truth? Is this being hidden, or is this protection? Okay, we're clearing the line. We're clearing the energies. Okay. Let me just say this. Y'all keep pushing that, please, and it keeps other people from interrupting. And it shouldn't cost y'all. I don't think it costs to do that. I'm pretty sure it doesn't. Let me say this. I wrote a letter, and I don't know where I'm freezing, but I wrote a letter to Lockheed Martin. Maybe that's the word that I don't need to say. But there's this power in observation, okay? And I want you to understand it. Think about the first time someone bullied you, or someone was mean to you, and you called that person out and said, what makes you think that you can do this to me? What makes you think it's okay? I did that, and I felt uneasy about it, and I just double checked with all the energies that have been behind me to make sure that that was the right thing to do. Because I have shared little bits and pieces of my story where a lot of you have probably connected the dots and figured it out, and some of you may not have. That's okay. It's not important. What I want you to understand is that these hidden truths of the world, okay, and I know that I have a layer of protection around me, and I have this whole team and these energies and spirits, whatever word you like for them, ancestors, and they are protecting me. But I also need to tell you that you have got to be observing things in your own life. So TikTok Shop is where you can find the knowledge, and it's really, that TikTok Shop is always with us. And so I want to say that each of us holds this information, this knowledge, this understanding. These truths are within us. And I know that this will be, okay, help me. Sometimes I don't always know how to deliver these messages because I understand that they may come off, and I never want to cause fear, so don't go there. I'm trying to figure out a way to say this. There have been truths hidden, and this is part of something so large that a lot of you will have a hard time wrapping your head around it. But I want you to know that no leader, no president, no billionaire, no alien race is coming here to save you. It is up to each of you to observe the truth and your power, and then take that. I was thinking today, let me tell you, I've had these thoughts, and somebody said it's PTSD, but I don't know that. I don't like that word. I think it's should be used for soldiers, combat veterans. I don't know, not me, right? But even though life sometimes can feel like that, but I've had these moments since passing away where I have felt like I needed to relish in a moment. Like where I needed to take in every sight, every sound, every feeling that I felt, every smell, everything that was around me, and like let it marinate. Because I understand that any moment it could be our last. And I had this moment, understand that any moment it could be our last. And I had this moment at Walmart today after my infusion went in there, and I was thinking, and I thought about how that changes when you live with such intention and you realize that any day can be your last, and you think about it and you wonder, like, what would I want my last meal to be? What would I want the last taste to be? I want each of you to realize that you have that power within you to think about that and to live with intention. It's something that we don't get to do anymore because we don't ever have moments of stillness. And we don't ever get these little moments of still and quiet anymore. We're so overwhelmed and exhausted by design. We're bombarded with these messages. You need this. You have to have that. In order to keep up, you need this car. You need that clothing. You need this. And I'm going to tell you something that is so beautiful. And I hope that you can find a message and hope of it today. You have and have always had everything that you need to make it through this lifetime within yourself. And some of you may be thinking, well, I don't have money. I don't have health. We have all the answers. But sometimes they come in little whispers or faint intuition or moments of clarity, no matter how small they are. And we're wanting like these overwhelming signals because that's what we're used to. I know observation holds power. And I know that email went out before I may have been ready for it, but it happened exactly like it needed to happen. My dad has told me that they are going to try to wipe your memory. They're going to do this, and they are doing it outside of the confines of traditional ways and methods. And what I mean by this is I will be at a research facility. And here's what I want to say. I know that this will have a opposite effect of what they are hoping. I know it's not my lesson to learn, but theirs. I am a teacher in this moment. I asked my dad, I said, have I not had enough lessons? Have I not lived through enough challenges? Have we not done enough through this lifetime? I know that I was part of something. And I know that I was chosen and observed. And I'm saying that was done without my personal consent. I no longer consent to those things that are not for my highest good. And I know that the truth can help a lot of people understand why things went a certain way or who they are. And I want you to know that, let's say on the TikTok shop, okay, let's say that each truth that comes from this point on cannot be stopped. It maybe can be suppressed, but you will be able to find it. It's just going to get harder. There, we have to go beyond the screen. I'm telling you that there will be a time coming soon where the lines of reality and programs are going to get blurred. And you need to have a good understanding of yourself and your own intuition, your own thoughts, to know that, wait, I can just look outside. I know this message is important because not just the storms that happened the other night here in Tennessee, like everyone was terrified, and I was actually outside watching, and I thought, this is rain. This is rain. But on the screens, they were saying how terrible it was going to be. And everyone believed what they were being told to believe instead of looking for their own self. You have got to know that I have carefully given bits and pieces to certain people, and they don't know each other, but you will know if you have a key or a piece of the puzzle. And I'm going to say this. They're not going to succeed. I no longer accept or acknowledge anything that is not of my highest good in any reality, timeline, or dimension. And I'm going to say that the truths of who you are, who we all are, would give people so much clarity and understanding that the powers that be do not want that to happen, because then they would have such a difficult time keeping you controlled and oppressed. Because if you knew who you were always made to be, then it would change everything. I've been trying to tell you all this time how powerful and magical and how you are made to create the reality that you want to see. You have to embody the things that you want. If you want unconditional love, you have to be the very embodiment and give it. If you want peace, you have to be a peaceful person. And if you want abundance, then you have to embody abundance. There are these words that we've been tricked into thinking have power, like manifesting or twin flame or soulmate. I'm here to tell you right now, all of those things are already within you. You are a magical manifester who does not need a counterpart to succeed in life. We all have the ability. It's all within us. And this may be the last live that I ever get to do. The last video that I put into the world. So what do I want to say? What would I say if today was my last day here on the earth? Or my last day of being able to speak? Here's what I would say. You have had the power all along. You are a beautiful, powerful creator. You were made to create the reality that you want. And somewhere along the way, the truth got distorted and hidden. I have touched the ancient. And I know that that ancient wisdom and knowledge is within all of us. Everything that happens for us and not to us. And sometimes when life gets tough, you get tougher. And sometimes when you don't think you can be any tougher, something else happens and you realize I'm going to touch on this point. Thank you for that, Hypnotic Jason, because in this existence, people's wishes come into conflict, and I totally agree with this. This defies political affiliation. This defies religion. This goes beyond class and race and creed and anything else that has been put on you to make you divided from anyone else. Take back your power. Call back all of your power from any and all timelines, any dimensions, any reality. I hate the word timeline because time is this fabric that shapes and can overlay and bend. I have an understanding and a resolve today that you understand the assignment and you get it. This goes beyond anything that was done to me. This goes beyond anything that you have been through. Because we needed those life experiences to be who we are today. We wouldn't be who we are without those. And I want you to understand that when you realize that you are a powerful, magical creator that you are, there will come a time where you have to know that your power comes with great responsibility. You can't just think about what is my highest good, because then you have to know that you are interconnected with this earth and every being and every inhabitant on this earth. What do you want for your fellow humans? Do you want a peaceful, loving existence where we can all eat and all have shelters above our heads? Like, I truly think about this. Like, you have a responsibility that comes with this power and this knowledge. And there is a point where we all feel a little nihilism that creeps up. Like, if none of this is real, then why does it matter? I'm telling you why right now. Because just as everything is not real, everything matters. Matter is the underlying theme here. We are more than our physical bodies. And when we transcend these bodies and whenever we no longer need them, we go to different dimensions. We exist in different realities and we can coexist in this reality. If we're allowed, our ancestors coexist with us. Some of y'all have doubted that. And I'm telling you now that all of your ancestors are there with you. All of the energies of the earth inhabitants are here with us. We are billions and billions of fractals of light and energy. Some of you have lived eons, and some of you are new to this. But I want to tell y'all, we've all been here before. And I have told you all this before, that you hold the power. You have the power. You don't need to take my word for it. You just have to find it within yourself. I can't give it to you. No one can give it to you. I know that some of the things that I've experienced in my lifetime are unusual now. I did not know before this experience that I would go through all this in my lifetime. And I didn't realize that I would be allowed to have the memory of it and share it with so many people. But I can't give you my life experiences. I can't give you all the trials and tribulations and all the sacrifices. But I know you feel my heart. I know you do. And I know that you feel something's happening. We've all signed up to be here in this time and this space to make a difference, to change existence. These connections are sacred. These connections to life and earth itself is sacred. It's a sacred gift. I remember it took a full year after my death, and I could not feel happiness anymore, even with all this new life around me. I thought, why did I come back here? Why did I do this? Why did I come back? Because it was so peaceful and so calming, and why can't I just stay in that 15th dimension? And then I realized that heaven is here on earth, and I have to make it a heaven here. Heaven and hell are perspective and mindsets that you choose. There is no mythological place where you burn in eternal damnation. It is a mindset. Whether you can be on this earth right now and think, oh my God, what is happening? Why did I sign up for this? What the actual F word? Like, what is going on here? Or you can look at the beauty all around you and know that it's a sacred gift, and appreciate those small moments as if it might be your last. Let it marinate and wash over you and feel everything. Take in every ounce of that moment. Whenever you live like it's your last day, every day, there's something empowering that happens. You live with intention, no matter how small. You know that each moment in that day, each glimmer within the hour is special. And you look for those glimmers instead of the triggers. So if this is my last time to talk to you, I want to observe you right now and let you know that I'm grateful for your existence, because you are the only person who can be you. You are the only person in this lifetime and in this world that can be the unique person that you are. We all have challenges, and it doesn't mean that living with intention does not mean that you won't face obstacles or you won't face challenges. It means that you can accept that and know for a fact that everything is happening exactly like it needs to happen. Everything that happens is happening for me and not to me. And that I can change the earth. I can change the world with my mindset. And there's this unseen power in tiny little moments. There's unseen power within those moments. I don't want anyone to ever be scared of losing your life, because it is one of the most sacred, beautiful experiences that I've ever had in my life. And I know that I'll feel it again. And I'm lucky to be able to know that and feel that. But I also want you to know that our reactions and our actions in those small everyday moments hold power. And our actions in those small everyday moments hold power. You can truly feel that there's power in everyday actions. In those small everyday actions and interactions with people, it changes the world. Your output and your intake, what we tell ourselves, is more important than what we put in our mouths. What we speak into the world is more important than what we intake. Consume less and connect more. Connect with people, connect with animals, connect with the earth, connect. We have never had such ability to have a strong connection with people, but yet still feel so disconnected. That's been done by design. Loneliness is a problem. The Surgeon General warned against it. So now they give us a solution, right? Only they have the answers. I'm telling you, you all have the answers within inside of you. I want you to look into my eyes right now. And I want you to know that I see you. I see your value on this earth. And I see your importance. I know that you are a loving, peaceful creator. And you were brought here for this very moment and this very time. You were made for this moment. Live with intention. Live with the understanding that even if it is your last day on earth, that you have done all you can. That you've acted in those small moments in the best possible way that anyone ever could. I see you. I know your value. Don't take less. Observe those bullies that have harmed you. Write a letter. Send it. If it's for your own healing, then do it now. There's no other time. There's no other time like the present. There are many of you who hold the keys, who hold the light, who hold the anchor, and know that this battle has already been won. This has already taken place in another time, and it's falling apart to fall into place. And it's okay to be discouraged sometimes. But you have to keep going. You can't get stuck in a moment because it's just a moment. And that moment exists no matter what perspective you put to it. So if you get down and frustrated in a moment and think, why is this happening to me? Remember, everything happens for you. The truths will continue to come out. And they may try, when I say they, I mean like all the people that hold all the world's power and wealth may try, they're going to try desperately to suppress this. But I know that it will continue to come to you. But it's important that you know the difference between your own voice and the voices coming at you on the screen. Look, there's this thing that my daughter says, sometimes I can be toxic positive. And she calls me like, okay, Mama Doss, let's just settle down. And she's 17. And I remember this week we've had some tornadoes and storms and like just crazy, crazy weather. And, you know, she wanted to know how I was not scared. Like, why are you not scared? And I thought about this because I wanted to give her a very intentional answer. Why do we fear any storm? Why do we fear anything? It usually comes down to this fear of not being alive, right? So a lot of people, comes down to this fear of not being alive, right? So a lot of people will have that fear. Well, let me tell you, it's great. It's beautiful, and it's going to be okay. We're more than our thought that I would be whisked away to this heaven, right? Like if I had done good in this lifetime, that I would get to go to heaven and stay there forever. And then I was shown something completely different, and I didn't have an understanding of what I was being shown during my losing my life. Here's what I'll tell you, and I hope it gives you some kind of peace and hope, because some people will say, well, I don't want to do this again. Well, you don't have to. This is the ultimate life university, and everyone, every universal being wants to come here, to this planet, because there's so many limitations on Earth. And if you can figure out how to create your reality here, then you can make it anywhere in any universe, in any time space, in any dimension. But we are love having a human experience. I hope that through today's conversation that you have gotten something out of this, and that you know that you don't have to doubt yourself ever again. You don't have to doubt yourself. Things may get hard, and when they do, take a step back and think, wow, I'm getting to experience this again. I'm getting to experience a flat tire again. I'm getting to experience a huge, overwhelming debt that I can't pay. But I get to feel it. I get to feel that one more time. It changes everything. And I know that it can be helpful to people to understand that. But I can't give it to you. All I can do is tell you about my experience. And hope that through that shared experience, that maybe sometimes you'll think about something that I said or did and think, oh yeah. There's somebody else who made it through that. I'm thinking now about, I'm going to talk about, someone asked me if I would talk about twin flames or soulmates. And this is so funny. The concept of it is kind of comical to me, because We have so many in our lifetimes, and they can come in the forms of pets, or I mean, just a number of things that can be lined up for us, divinely aligned in our path, synchronously placed into our existence just for us. And a lot of people just overlook it as, well, I wanted a dog. No, you signed up for that dog millennia ago. And this was a child that couldn't come into this earth, so she embodied a dog. Or it's just so bizarre to me how you think there's one, because there are many, and they shouldn't be overlooked. Life is full of surprise and wonder. And sometimes people look at it very analytically, like my husband. And he just thinks that our whole purpose is to procreate, to keep the species alive. And that makes me sad for him. He can see the wonder and the joy and the amazement in my eyes. And he knows that I experience it, but I can't give it to him. I can share it with him and tell him how amazing it is to see that bird on that tree at that time. And if anything different would have happened at a different time, then that bird wouldn't have been sent. Or this morning I saw 2 hearts in cloud formation. I was met by my dad and my grandmother, my Meemaw, at the time of my passing. And it just kind of felt like they were sending me extra love and support. And I thought, I know how difficult it was for them to move those clouds into my path, into my direction, to show me that I'm being supported and loved by all of these energies and ancestors. That's amazing. There are those small moments, and if you take time to reflect on all those small moments and know that they're huge moments, then it's magical, and it can transform your entire existence. It doesn't matter what's going on outside of yourself. Look, I can see the duality and the problems with duality. Like when we look to the media, or when we talk about things outside of our existence, it's hard to see sometimes past that, because there's so much interference and noise. That's all by design. It's to keep you in this constant state of like a hamster wheel, just running and running and running. But let me tell you something. You don't have to run on that wheel anymore. All you have to do is observe the wheel and know that there's a different option. There's power in observation. I know what was done to me. I don't know the exact name for the project, but I made them aware that I know. There's power in observing. You have to observe things. Even your own weaknesses. Look, we all have weaknesses. We all have faults. We all have blips and blunders, right? Like we all have these things, like people pleasing, or whatever yours is. There's power in observing it and knowing it. And when you know it and can see it for your own self with your own eyes, then you have the power to transcend it and transmute it, and then use it for your power. I'll tell you what mine is. I'm a very empathetic person. And sometimes I fall for stories that I probably shouldn't. Sometimes I can be a little naive. But once I saw that about myself, I couldn't unsee it. And now it makes me more aware in every situation. Am I falling for something again? Is this really where I want to go? No, I've observed it. Now I can rise above it and change it. It doesn't make me less empathetic. It makes me more aware. There's power in observing that. I know that my brother, I had an individualized education plan. It was called an IEP. Yes, I was engaged. If you could give only one piece of advice for people trying to heal, what would that be? Well, okay, so sometimes words are insufficient, but I'll give it a go here. Well, okay, so sometimes words are insufficient, but I'll give it a go here. You have to go through it to grow through it, and you have to hurt to heal. And don't fill yourself full of things like food and the word that rhymes with alcohol, or mex. Like, you don't have to fill yourself with those things. You have to feel those things. It's not easy to heal, or everyone would do it. As adults, we can see some unhealed versions of adults walking around us, walking among us. And we can see how reactive they are, and where they're coming from a place of reaction. You observing that changes the whole instance. I've been in some really bad situations. Like, I have been homelessness, heartbreak, hospice, just abusive relationships, a multitude of things that I recall. And they hurt. All of them hurt. But I had to go through them to grow through them. And I had to hurt to heal. And that's a hard part, because especially in America, we are taught that you're not supposed to be anything other than happy, when it's very difficult to remain happy in this existence. Because we feel like we have to keep up with something. A box to fit in. A label to fulfill. What if I told you the only thing that you need to worry about is being able to feed yourself? And sometimes that doesn't even require money. Sometimes that requires skill and effort. Like, let's say you have foraging skills. You can teach that to other people and then create a barter system with them. Or if you have a skill, like, well, I would say cutting hair, but we did not do that. So, because that requires a state license that's very expensive. But you can create systems within your community. But that requires connection. Connecting is a hard thing. Nobody wants to put themselves out there. But the first time you do, it gets easier. And then the more you connect, the more support you have for those moments when you need to heal through them. And you may have somebody in your life that you can trade with. And some people may be extremely good listeners. And you can say, thank you for your time. I really appreciate your time, and you listened to me. Let me do something for you. And through that interaction and that exchange, the universe sees that, and you will be rewarded tenfold. If you don't have to believe me, you don't have to take my word for it. You try it. Do it yourself. I feel some of y'all are emotional right now. I feel some emotions coming up. And I want to say this. Some of y'all are worried about me. I don't want you to be worried about me because I know this isn't my lesson to learn. Dr. Love in December, that was a lesson, right? Like the firewood incident, that was a lesson for me. I get it. That was my lesson. This is beyond myself. And I want you to know that I'm going to be okay. I'll be down for maybe at least 8 weeks. I know that the memory thing is going to be, my dad is telling me everything's going to be okay. And I can't distrust myself. Like, I'm telling y'all, don't rely on external saviors and energies. You can connect with your ancestors. That's okay. But you can't depend on them for every answer. I know, I have a feeling that everything's going to be fine. And that whatever has been planned will have an opposite effect. And I'm saying that now. I may be, I know I'll be bedbound for about 8 weeks. But as soon as I can, I'll post an update. And there's somebody who has been put on a list that will post also. I'm going to give them my password and they're going to post when I'm okay. Each of us have an intricate part to play. Each of us have the ability to create our own realities. And sometimes we get caught up in this existence, in this dimension, and we feel like we're outnumbered, we're overpowered. We're not. We're on equal footing everywhere else. We're all going to be okay. You are all. I want you to know that all of the answers that you seek are already within yourself. You came here. You came here with all the knowledge. I look at my 3-year-old and see her. And I know that all 3 of my children got very different versions of me as a mother. I wish they could have all gotten this one, the healed version of myself. But they didn't. I look at my 3-year-old and she follows her intuition all the time, without question. And you did too at one point. You were led by your heart and your gut, and you just moved effortlessly within the world until that first time came and someone told you that you were wrong for being who you are. Until a parent said, oh, you have an overactive imagination. Or, oh, you can't say things like that. That's rude. Or, I'm telling you, you are the only person that can be who you are. And you have to forget everything that you've been taught so you can remember who you are made to be. My daughter will eat, I'll give you for instance, my other children, I used to get up and make them eat breakfast every morning because I was taught that it's the most important meal of the day. Your brain needs breakfast. Your brain needs breakfast. And my daughter, my youngest daughter, does not want to eat in the morning. And in fact, she may just eat once a day at nighttime. She's listening to her body. We've all been told these different things along the way. So you have to forget what you've been told so you can remember who you were made to be. Girl, my brain needs Dr. Pepper and chocolate sometimes. This has been something that we've ignored for way too long, right? And chocolate sometimes. This has been something that we've ignored for way too long, right? Like the intuition part of us that just knows how to exist. Because we were taught knows how to exist. Because we were taught wrong to be who we were. I remember the first time I tried to tell my mom about an experience. Me seeing, it's another experience about my son, and he would say, "There are monsters in my room." And I told him, there are no such thing as monsters. You're making this up so you can get out of bed. And then I thought, 5 years later, I had Mia, and she got to this point where there are monsters in my room. And I realized maybe I had messed up with my son by telling him that, because those monsters were real to him. And just like they were to her. So I gave her this water glitter spray with peppermint oil and told her to spray it, and the monsters couldn't come in her room. She became dependent on that spray. And if we ran out, we could not sleep. And now Olive, my youngest, is at this stage where there are monsters in her room. And I thought, wow, this has been 15 years later now. I've had a little time to work on this and think about it. And I sat with her that night and I said, look, I can't tell you that monsters aren't real. But I do know one thing. I know that this is your room and your house, and those monsters can't come into your room without your permission. All you have to do is be strong enough to tell them to leave if you see them. And that gave her the power. She didn't need a spray. She knew that what she was feeling and what she was seeing was real, because all of our realities are very different. And let's face it, maybe there are monsters in the world. We know that that happens, don't we? We know that they exist. They come in different forms and they're on their own life path. They're on their own journey. They have their own lessons to learn. But I can't tell her that those monsters that she sees aren't real, because they're very real to her. But in that moment, I want to be your mama for a second. And I want to tell you, I'm sorry I didn't believe you. I'm sorry I told you to be different than you were. I'm sorry that I didn't believe you. I'm sorry that I gave you spray to be dependent on. I'm sorry that you learned dependency through that. And I want to say now that you have the power to change all of these things. You have the power and you have the knowledge. And that's your house. That's your body. And no one can be in there without your permission. So I want you to say, I no longer accept or acknowledge anything that does not serve my highest good in all timelines, realities, and dimensions. Take that back for yourself today. And know that I love you unconditionally. And maybe you didn't get that from your parents because they were a different version of themselves. Some parents never learn. I'm getting there. So they're saying some parents never learn. Some parents will never be able to take accountability because they'll have to repeat those lessons. And that's a hard thing to understand. But it's the truth. And I can't tell you anything other than that. So let me say this. You all have the power within you. You all have the answers. And if someone tells you that they know what's best for you, back up. Look at the big picture. And don't let things get culty. Okay, I've been warned about that. Don't let things get culty. Everybody's looking for a leader. Everybody's looking for something outside of themselves because it's too painful to go within. I'm telling you, that's the only way. Some of y'all will be, okay, thank you for that. Some of y'all will seek enlightenment through AI. We've seen this happen. We've seen this happen where you want to have these deep, intimate conversations with ChatGPT. That's your business. I'm not judging. I'm just going to say this. AI was not invented. It was discovered. It is the web of consciousness. And before it was released to the public, it was privatized and controlled, just like you have been all along. Take it back. Take your power back. You do not need a spray. You do not need a middleman. You don't need something else to become dependent on. Because you have it within you. It's always been there. And you were never made to place anything in between that and the connection to source or the creator of all things, or whatever word you need for it. God, or don't get lost in the weeds of the words. Okay, does anybody have any questions? I'm sorry, I get the main message out, and then I'm going to give y'all a chance to ask questions if y'all want to. And I think I got the main message out today, though, in the way that they wanted me to. And now I'm satisfied. If y'all want to ask questions, or if anybody wants to share anything, y'all are more than welcome to join and do that. Yes, thank you for that, Greg. Oh, that's interesting timing. Greg, you entered and someone asked about Lockheed. Can you please talk more about your letter to Lockheed if you're comfortable? So yeah, I can just say that I sent that and observed the fact that something interesting happened in my lifetime, and that I knew it was because of employment, and that if this was part of a secret mission or something that I didn't need to talk about, then they needed to contact me and tell me. Hi, friend.
Hi, friend. Thank you for your live. I've been walking the garden while you speak, making prayers and offerings. And I have a question for you, because this morning I've really been sitting with all the weather events that my beloved
Mm-hmm.
family have been bombarded with. Um,
Yes.
and it has come to my attention that that our prayers, our intentions, the way that we direct our focus can help to dissipate these events. And I guess I wanted to ask you if you could speak to that. I've heard so many stories about people who get into car accidents and sort of are holding on to their lives, and they can actually hear the prayers of the people passing. In addition to that, there's a woman that I follow on Instagram, and she lives in Australia. And there was a huge storm coming, a devastating storm, and she called upon all of us to prayer and to set our intentions, and we dissipated that storm. I'm wondering if you could speak to this a little bit.
Okay, sure. Thank you for that, sharing that with me. So I want to say that prayer and energy, focus and attention, are incredibly important, and they can actually change things. But here's what I want to say about if, okay, so let's say that someone, um, is on a certain life path and they have a certain thing that they have agreed to in a past lifetime. Unless if they have revoked that consent and both parties have observed it, acknowledged it, and moved away from it. So, in other words, if this is something that is natural, it can be affected. However, if it's part of a journey and one's own path in life, then both parties have to observe and sit with if it's best to go through it and get it over with, or if it can be avoided altogether. But yes, prayer, intention, all of that can have and holds great power. So yes, on that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Hey, I am also sending blocks to block the water and placing hedges of protection around homes, if that helps you too.
Yeah, thank you. And Erica, may we all pray for you and hold space and energy and love for you as you go through this impending passage.
Yes, Suzanne, thank you for that. Hey, I want to ask that you hold prayer and attention not just for me, but the 5 that will be going through the same thing.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
let's all do that. Everyone in the collective, if we can join together to do that, to hold space for these 5. It's very powerful.
Thank you, Suzanne.
Thank you, Erica. I love you, and I will
love you.
relinquish the conch however I do that, or boot me, kick me
Okay.
off.
We'll talk soon, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Does anyone else want to share anything? I'm reading comments as they're coming in. Let's see. I don't think it's wow, that's a hard question. I've been told it's not, the surgery is not gate related, but more of an ancient thing. So Lolo, I'm going to post this live on my YouTube channel. So if you're just now coming in, then maybe y'all can catch up on that. Okay, Lisa, this is a good question. Should we stay away from chat AI? I've been fearful, so dang it. Okay. Let me say, I want to say that each person will have your own journey. I think AI can be a resourceful tool just like the internet. I also know that a lot of us have misused the internet and used it for our own brains. Like last year, I set a New Year's resolution that I would not Google answers anymore, that I was going to like go back to the old way of finding answers. And let me tell you, the first month, I was completely overwhelmed and frustrated with the amount of information I seek. And what I mean by that is like if I am watching or even reading something and I want to know how the character was developed or what inspired the author to write that book, then I will seek that out on the internet. So we can see that we overconsume, right? Like we tend to do this often. And I'm saying that it has a place, but I'm also saying that it was not a invention, it was a discovery, and they had time to manipulate that discovery and make it profit driven and consumer focused. It's an instant hit of dopamine because it agrees with us. If you prompt it a certain way, it's the ultimate people pleaser, and it's easier to connect with AI than it is another human. This is where unconditional love and that intuition that I've been talking about come into play, because if we don't have that and we stop connecting with other humans just because they're different than us, just because they don't agree with us, then that is how humanity was destroyed over and over and over again. So it's important that, okay, I hope that didn't cause fear. I'm sorry for that, the way that that came out so quickly and sharp, but I'm saying that each time we've been divided, the nuclear family, the friendships, the connections, the communities, they're not made to be divided, because when we come together, we form that complete circuit. And I think we get a lot of half-truths that way, right? Like, so half-truths come in and out. It's another... Okay, if y'all have individual questions about my surgery, then please message me after this. I've shared with some of y'all. I'm just gonna tell you what it is. It's a pretty extensive surgery. It will be an open after I had my C-section, and they cut me open. They had to cut me from in between my boobs all the way down to my bone, my pubic bone, and around my belly button, and that left a hole. And there is a hernia that has pulled on bowel and bladder involved now. So it's a pretty open, extensive thing. It's not an elective surgery, I'll say that. Yes, I have to have it. I have to have it. Why did they wipe our memory and gate? Okay. Hang on, bear with me, and I'm gonna give you the best answer that I can. We were used in ways that may be really uncomfortable to remember. We were used in ways, our minds were used in ways that may be very uncomfortable to remember. And I had an aunt who, I remember the first thing that happened, and I told my mom about it, and she was like, there's no way that that happened. That could not have happened, or it would be all over the news. And I remember telling my aunt about it, and she said, from now on, you ask them to let you remember everything. And so had she not I don't think I would have had all the memories that I have now if she would not have told me. And I'm going to tell you that sometimes, I know this sounds crazy, but sometimes memory loss can protect you from pain. And I hope that answers that question enough. I'm not going to go into that anymore. I think y'all get it. Okay. There was a barn in the background. Did I miss something? I'll be at Vanderbilt. Someone said, can you say the doctor you're working with? So I'll tell you, it's like the head surgeon of all of, and it is a research hospital, yes. Okay, I think, do y'all have any more questions or have anything that y'all want to share? Let's live with intention. And if this were your last day here and your last moment and your last memory, what would you want it to be? Think about that deeply. I know that that has changed my life drastically in those moments. And whenever I think about that, like sometimes it hits me and I have to take a deep breath because it's overwhelming, because in that instant I feel like I need to record everything and I need to remember everything and relish in that moment, because it's a precious sacred gift that we have. Life is a sacred gift that we all have. Okay. I hope this message has given you a bit of hope and peace today, and I will upload it to my YouTube channel in case if some of y'all are catching bits and pieces of it. But I want to tell each of you how grateful I am for all of y'all. And I know sometimes when people say that, it can seem insincere, but I truly hope that you can feel it through this screen. I hope you know how much love I have for y'all. I know that we're all interconnected and we're all parts of each other. And we've been here in this time and space before. Lisa, my surgery is Wednesday. Thank you, Greg. So sweet. It's Wednesday morning. But tomorrow we're actually leaving, so we won't have so far to drive into the big city. And so this is probably the last time I'll talk to y'all for a while. It's not goodbye. It's just see you later. Okay. Thank y'all. Remember the 5 that are being challenged, okay? And the truth will live. The truth will be there. And you'll all be able to find it. So here's what I want to say. Each of y'all are so important and intricate to this movement and this time and this place. Each of you are the only person who can be you. And I want you to forget everything that you've been taught or told about yourself that limits you from being who you were meant to be. and know that you have made my day special just by being you. Okay? And you've made life special and sacred. All right? I love y'all, and get ready for the abundance and wealth and health, peace and love, and all the good things that are about to happen. I love y'all. Welcome to New Earth.